So I see in the future, well, for number one, we're not going to have to expand that much more if we keep to our guns about community class and things like that. We can switch this around a little bit, but I see people having more craftsman homes, really like my sister's husband does post and beam construction, stuff that's really fun to build and beautiful to live in. And the thing about the architecture of these small homes, which I met a family in Santa Fe. It was educated, very educated, living in Santa Fe. And the wife stayed home with the three kids, and the husband worked. They had three little kids. And the three children slept in a bedroom. It was a two-bedroom house. And they had a little kitchen, a little living room, a little backyard. Super happy, close-knit family. You look at these big McMansions, and people are so spread out, and people are driving around. And I don't even know that there is a whole lot of family time. Maybe two kids, and so we build these big houses and then we buy stuff to put in them, and it keeps us busy. We're running here, getting a sofa, then that one goes out of style, and then we get and I like Jack White's upholstery business. I like the fact that if you buy a good quality sofa, you can get it reupholstered instead of just throw it away in the landfill. So I think people have to start making these decisions, and if they're not enlightened, then you need to help them, because where you choose to spend your money gives that place power. Like mattresses. I know they have mattresses that are biodegradable. Nobody buys them. I mean, we need to all buy them and put the other people out of business. You'll find, as I'm sure I've found, and I did grow up in a family with antiques, things that have been since the 1700s. I really appreciate good quality, interesting architecture, and not the cheap, crappy throw up buildings that I just don't think they're attractive. There are paints that are biodegradable. I guess I used to use milk paints. We don't even have to put that plastic on our houses, not even in the acrylic paint you paint on your houses. Because you think of all the world over, is that feasible? Is it going to go in the landfill? Or if it is, it's going to get burnt. Is it safe? And we do need scientists that are ethical. What's up with that? I mean, Einstein did not plan on designing the nuclear bomb. That is not what his ethics were. They have taken it and bastardized it. Now we've got a terrible... I'm like, why shoot guns? Why do you do this? All you have to do is nuke the whole goddamn country. And so if we're not going to do that to the Middle East, we have to help them survive in a very viable way that's somewhat happy and that they have a livelihood. And we can do that if we work together, and they can learn. I mean, they're back in the Middle Ages, probably, in some of their, the men-dominated cultures. But that can change. It can change. I've always been a big fan of NASCAR. Not personally for me, but I like the movie. And there must be a lot of people that like to watch NASCAR. There's nothing wrong with that. Sports, plays, Shakespeare, stuff like that. It's actually quite fascinating and beautiful to think of how we could help change the Middle East to be more like us. And that seems to be what they want. That's why they hate us, because we have so much stuff. But I guess in my guided tour through humanity is like, you don't need so much stuff. You need people in your life that are quality. You need relationships. So you need to work on that. The mental illness, the physiology of the chemicals of the brain versus, people that have come from abusive situations and need to try to make amends that they can move on and get out of that. And they're going to need to talk about that with the therapist. You need to talk about that. And if your friends don't want to hear it for hour after hour, get you a therapist and go talk about it there. But I'd like to see handcrafted furniture as we slow down a little bit and start spending more. Like if we buy the sofa, it's going to be our sofa forever. This is it. This is our sofa. And then if we buy a refrigerator, the engineers need to make it recyclable. It just has to come apart and be recycled. Some parts of the world don't have refrigerators. We need solar panels. We need to try to transition to as much solar as we can. But I feel as soon as we do that, there's even going to be a better energy, cleaner and easier to use. The solar panels may get tiny, but we need to support that industry so that they can make those advances if you're financially able to. Put those solar panels on your roof. Support the solar panel industry. The hydroelectric trolley would have been great in Richmond. I think it would bring tourism in. I don't know why they put that fast speed bus, but whatever. It's ugly. So tourism can be the way of the future in a lot of areas about how to make money, like Native Americans. Give them a place to put their teepee. Make it partially their home ground, where they come from, where they're established and where's home. And, we always romanticize about Native Americans, but they're still here. They're not gone yet. And we don't want them. They're part of what makes America great, Trump, is Native Americans, that mythology and that lore and their naturalness. I mean, they want to be in nature. It's beautiful. No, you wouldn't really call that a moral. That's an ethnic fractalization. And that's beautiful. Fractalization of ethnicities is beautiful. But the nice thing is in the future is we all can travel and enjoy each other's home. I mean, I grew up a certain way. I did. And we weren't wealthy, but we're Virginians. I was born here and we have a farm and I feel home here. I feel bad for people that don't have a home. But my roots are here. But I could travel anywhere for work. I would travel for work to get to know the clientele that would like the schools and learn about their fractalization. I mean, I just see mainly on videos and movies and stuff like that how beautiful India is. But I also met a lady in the caste system from India. And she thought I was rich because I had purple dogs. And I was like, ma'am, you are not doing good by your people. You're this really wealthy, beautiful, and the whole family from India was here. And I was like, I'm not into childhood prostitution. I don't think it's okay what you're doing. And she's, oh, we're slowly getting them. And no, we can do it in this generation. We can stop this craziness and tell people what is ethical and what isn't. And social norms. I don't think it's right to prostitute a child. And I'm sorry for the ladies or the men that have to prostitute themselves because I don't think anybody really... Everybody wants a love affair like, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth. Midsummer's Night Dream's my favorite. And it's so real and true all the time. Everybody's like, what was that? What movie was... They're looking at the table and they're all looking at each other. What Chevy Chase movie? Was that Foul Play or something? I can't remember. But there's like all these adults and they're kind of looking at each other and flirting and, on this. But it's funny. So, yeah, houses can be smaller and we don't need to buy as much stuff. It's just driving me crazy. We got to slow down and take pride in what you're selling, that it's art, it's craft, it's from real people. The Target... They sell a bunch of crappy stuff from China in plastic, which is fine if you biodegrade it. But if it's polluting our country, I don't buy there. I just don't. I always go to the underpants section hoping one day that they'll have cotton underwear, and they don't. They never do. It's always that plastic stuff. So I'll go to Walmart and get my cotton underwear. I like cotton bras, silk, linen, anything. I do not want plastic on my body. I prefer leather shoes. I mean, I will wear plastic sometimes, but it's a difference, a feel of energy. Just the plastic energy is so fake. It's like, it's petroleum. It's out of the ground. What was it? They went to Beverly Hills, the Beverly Hills. That's the whole way the world is right now to me. What is the Beverly Hills rednecks? Beverly Hills... Not vampires. Beverly Hills. But everybody that's making all this money off the oil is just like, to me, the Beverly Hills Cowboys. Or what are they called? I don't know. Bootleggers, whatever. The Beverly Hills is... When you're making a lot of money off plastic and oil, you're a Beverly Hills... Yeah. What is the name of that group? Back in the 60s or 70s, or like, it's really fun, but hillbillies, okay, if you're making a ton of money and it's going in your bank account and you're feeling all good about that, You're just a hillbilly.